Yes.
And that being the case, can you find out if there's anyone who wants to add any item onto the agenda? Or remove an item? Remove all additions and so on? None. Can you formally get someone to?
I move for
Hello?
adoption, Chairperson.
Dan will move for adoption.
In your second.
When your seconds. Thank you very much. We will then proceed to having opened the meeting and welcomed everybody. We'll move on to item 2, which is apologies. Advocate Pindela.
Can I indicate 1 or 2, Chair?
Yes.
Okay, I got an indication that Honorable Bukause is engaged and has asked a party member to stand in for her. And the second one is the landsman is not well, he's still off sick. We are attending to his issue to ensure that there is an acting provincial whip for the Northwest Province. So I will be talking to the delegation members just to sort it out. In fact, the process has started so that we just have an acting whip to ensure coordination on number of other activities with the province. We'll attend to it, Chair. Yeah.
No, thank you very much, Chief Whip. Are there any other apologies? Advocate Pindela?
Chairperson, we record the apology of Dr. Goranov.
Goranov is not coming to the meeting.
No, he tendered an apology.
Oh, apology. Thank you very much. Yes, no, thanks. Fine. I think we should pass then the item on apologies and move on to item 4, consideration of minutes of meetings of the 9th of December 2021. Can you look at the minutes? Page 1. All the names of people who were present there and properly spelled and so on. Page 1, any corrections? On page 1, corrections on page 1. Page 2, corrections on page 2, opening the apologies, consideration of the agenda, minutes, matters arising, consideration of draft parliamentary program, corrections on page 3. Page 3. It ends there with the sentence, the 2021 NCOP 4th and 2022 first term programs were adopted. Page 4. Any corrections on page 4? Page 4. The last paragraph there, before that line, that sentence, the report was noted. So it should be the second sentence of that paragraph. There are 8 other matters that are being considered by different committees. Some of these matters have aimed to finish dates. There seems to be something wrong with that sentence. Yes. These matters have
Chair-
aim to finish dates whilst blah, blah,
Chair-
blah. Yes.
Chairperson, what it means is that those matters have deadlines. Those are the dates on which committees aim to finish considering them.
Yeah.
That is what is meant.
I'm sure
Aim to finish that.
I'm sure it can be improved. Okay. I'm sure that can be looked at. And then
Okay, thank you very much.
any other corrections there? None. Last page, page 5. Any corrections on page 5? Okay, thank you very much. Having done that minor correction, can we have someone move for adoption of the minutes?
Nyambi moves, Chair.
Nyambi moves. Thank you very much. Any
Honorable
second?
Honorable
Chair.
Bartlett, second.
Honorable Bartlett, seconds. Thank you very much. There we are. So we're done with item number 4. We'll now move to item number 5, which is matters arising, and we'll ask request the Secretary to the NCOP, Advocate Pilar, to take us through the action list.
Thank you very much, Chair. The action list was distributed, and on the 9th of December 2021, we had a sitting, a debate on 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, as well as consideration of several committee reports. On the 10th and the 14th of December, we had the National Council of Provinces Rules Committee meeting. Then on the 15th, we had a sitting which considered the taxation bills. Then the constituency period followed from the 16th to 24th of December. Then the 27th of December, we had annual leave period. On the 25th to the 22nd of January 2022, we had members training. From the 1st to the 3rd of February, we had a workshop on cooperative governance and intergovernmental relations. On the 10th, we had the joint sitting, State of the Nation address. Then on the 14th to the 15th, we had the joint sitting debate on the State of the Nation address. Then on the 16th, we had another joint sitting, which was the President's reply to the debate on the State of the Nation address. On the 22nd of February, we had a ministerial briefing. On the 24th of February 2022, we had a sitting, the debate on mental health for all, giving priority and great access to mental health care for all. Then from the 1st to the 2nd of March, we had strategic planning for committees. We must indicate, Chair, that despite the setback that Parliament suffered as a result of fire, we managed to continue with the program unabated. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so those are the matters arising. Any comment? Matters arising reported on, and the time frames and state of implementation and taking the issues forward is properly stated. If there are no comments, we'll then move on. We'll express appreciation that the team is keeping the issues on track. We're well on our way there. Item 6, consideration of the draft parliamentary program. Honorable Njadu.
Good morning, Chairperson.
Yes.
Good morning to the House Chairperson, all the whippery, Chief Whip Mohai, all members. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, at the end of the program, as was presented yesterday to the WIPRI, I believe that that Advocate Pindela will also just give and focus areas on the ministry, I mean the provincial week, just to give an input on the provincial week. So, Chairperson, going to the program, I don't know whether the program be flighted. If not, I would want Chairperson to the programming committee to look at the WIPRI to look at the provincial budget dates, so that we all familiarize ourselves with the provincial budget dates. Then, Chairperson, going to the program, today is the 3rd of March, which we are having our programming committee, and then after this we have caucus. Then tomorrow, Friday, will be the 4th of March. We will be the parliamentary group on international relations. The PGIR meeting will be tomorrow, on the 4th of March. Then, Chairperson, on the 8th of March, will be a ministerial briefing session on human settlement. Chairperson, I just want to make a point on the briefings and the committees, which we are working very closely with Honorable Nyambi in terms of the scheduling of the dates. So as we are going to present, so that members just take note of the time schedules between the briefings and the committees. Then on the 8th, we'll be having a ministerial briefing session on human settlement. And then on the 9th of March, we have a plenary. All plenaries, Chairperson, for now will be visual. We'll have a consideration of the Select Committee on Finance, a report on fiscal framework and revenue proposal will be in the 9th of March. Then, and also we'll have a debate on the 2021 Women's Charter to accelerate accelerated development. That will be 9 March. Then we'll go to the 10th of March. We'll have only caucus and committees on the 10th of March. Then on the 11th of March will be only committees. And then on the 15th of March will be a ministerial briefing session on water and sanitation. And then committees. Then on the 16th of March will be a Women's Charter Review Law Reform High-Level session. And then also that will be in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we will have a plenary visual questions to the Deputy President. And we will also have in the morning committees. 17 March, Chairperson, will be multi-party women's caucus. And then in the afternoon, we'll have a plenary, which will be the debate on the state city. Am I audible, Chairperson?
Yeah, audible. Just speak closer to the mic, a bit louder but slower.
Slower, eh? Okay. 21st of March, Chairperson, will be Women's Rights Day, meaning that the Parliament will then, on the 22nd of March, have a party plenary, which will be debate on Human Rights Day. That is on the 22nd of March. And also we'll have committees in the afternoon. 23rd March will be Provincial Week Forum and committees. 22nd of March will be committees. Then on the 24th of March, we'll have a programming committee. We will also have a caucus. And then we'll have also a plenary in the afternoon. the plenary will be the debate on the relevance and success of a broad-based Black economic empowerment. And then on the 25th of March will be the 2021 Women's Charter for Accelerated Development, the 3 spheres planning session. Then from the 28th of March up to the 1st of April will be the Provincial Week. That is when Chairperson, the advocate will just give us some input on the theme and also how we will look at the Provincial Week for the 2022. And then the constituency period for the National Council of Provinces will be from the 4th to the 18th of April. Thank you very much, Chairperson. If it's allowed, maybe before we go to discussion, just for advocate to give us an input on the Provincial Week, as we presented also to the WIPRI yesterday. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. Pindera.
Thank you very much, Chair. The proposed theme of the Provincial Week is assessing state capacity to respond to the needs of the communities. The Provincial Week is intended to focus on matters affecting provinces in the national sphere of government. The proposal is that instead of looking at matters that the provincial legislatures or local sphere of government may have jurisdiction, the National Council of Provinces must focus more on matters that affect provinces in the national sphere of government. A further proposal, Chair, is that instead of having all the provincial delegations focusing on one issue, the provincial delegations should look at matters that are pertinent to their provinces. We therefore proposed that each province must have a focal area or an area of focus. Insofar as the Eastern Cape is concerned, the proposal is that the focus must be on the availability of land for farming and industrialization of hemp and cannabis, alternatively provision of adequate school infrastructure in rural areas and townships. And the Free State, the proposal is to focus on the provision of water and sanitation infrastructure, as well as the special economic zone. Insofar as Gauteng is concerned, the proposal is that the focus must be on energy generation or renewable energy. There's also an indication that Gauteng would also want to focus on the provision of, insofar as it would want to focus on the quality of water in the province. KwaZulu-Natal, capacity to fight crime, to fight against crime, including the state of police stations and township and rural areas, as well as their resourcing. Limpopo, the focus is proposed to be on the SMMEs, especially in the agricultural sector, to assist them to deal with biophysical factors such as land ownership, market access, and affordable support to deal with other price of inputs such as fertilizers, herbicides, irrigation, and so on. Then Mpumalanga, provision of safe and reliable scholar transport in rural areas, including mechanisms to control overloading, roadworthy vehicles, discrepancies on the number of learners and route distances. The Northern Cape, provision of safe drinking water and assistance to communities that are affected by drought, including visiting water provision project and so on. The Northwest, investment in mining, renewable energy, state capacity to build, upgrade, and maintain roads, including visiting road infrastructure programs. Then Western Cape, provision of housing infrastructure, including measures to address the housing backlog and create integrated and sustainable human settlements. These proposals, Chairperson, were put before the WIPRI yesterday, and indications were that the provincial delegations would want to have meetings and have further deliberations or further discussions on these areas and supplement them wherever possible. We have requested that at least by the 11th, the provincial delegations must have submitted their proposed programs so that we can then start with the preparations for the provincial week. I must also indicate, Chair, that Chairperson,
Finalization by the date, just repeat the date.
The 11th of March, Chair, 2022.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. I must also indicate that, Chair, these themes also originate from the State of the Nation address by the President. So the intention is that the National Council of Provinces must look at these themes as emanating from that address. Chair, that is in summary what we are looking at insofar as the provincial week is concerned. As to the structure, the proposal is that there should be delegation briefings by ministers or deputy ministers, premiers, or MECs where relevant. Then the proposal also is that there should be the visit to service delivery sites, and then the last day should be for provincial briefing sessions. The proposed participants, Chair, are the Department of Agriculture, Energy, Human Settlements, Mineral Resources, Police, Small Business Development, Trade and Industry, Transport, Water and Sanitation, as well as relevant provincial departments, provincial legislatures, organized local government, as well as the municipalities in the form of their mayors, the speakers, and municipal managers. Thank you very much. In brief, that is the proposal insofar as the provincial week is concerned.
Thank you very much. So there we are. The program has been presented broadly, but on the provincial week specifically, the proposal has been put on the theme, and that the theme and related program should be considered by provincial delegations, and a feedback be given back by the 11th of March. And then the proposal with respect to the various provinces on the issues there as a broad guide, and that these issues come from the SONA. And then there's a question of the structure, the interaction with MECs, deputy ministers, and ministers. Yes, I'm sure at the end of the provincial week, there should be debriefings, which are really meant to reinforce whatever would have been implemented, and whatever would have been observed by the various delegations. Thank you very much. Any comments?
Nyambi, Chair,
Yes.
I move that we adopt it with that proviso that some provincial delegations will fine tune before the 11th. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Any comments?
Yeah,
I second, Chairperson.
I put up my hand, Chair.
Who was seconding again?
Chairperson.
Chairperson. Chairperson.
No, I'll come back to you, Peter, just a minute.
Okay.
Who was saying as seconding, is it PP?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
Chairperson, that's PP.
No, thank you very much.
Chairperson,
Yes.
it's Honorable Abeskagni. I
Oh
put up
yeah.
my-
Now what we'll do is we'll follow the list, because I see there a few hands are up. We'll follow the list. We'll start with Mohai, Lucas, Labuskachne, Tango, in that order. Let's start with the Chief Whip.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is okay. First, I want to indicate that the whippery did discuss, make some of his observations on the provincial week and intimated that the point that was raised that the provincial delegations will discuss, finalize the matters as they are indicated on the program, so that we fully exhaust the consultation process prior to the provincial week. That's one. And two, I just want us to, that the advocate and the programming whip, just to be consistent, to put the themes for all the matters that are supposed to serve in the House as they were reflected in some of the documents. So it's just a matter of ensuring that it's quite clear under what theme that we organize in this provincial week, the debates, there's a themes that are proposed for this debate so that they are in the document that should be reproduced for members. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Let's not lose the point that's been raised by the Chief Whip now. Let's just make sure that it's part of the process. It was a 1 page or 2 page, just reminding people on the key issues. It can only have a positive impact on the work. Lucas?
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning to everyone. Chair, 2 issues. I think I follow on what the Chief Whip have said. And also, I think we should allow provinces also to look into the state of the province addresses that was there on issues that can possibly be useful to follow on what the province, on the commitments from the province itself, particularly areas that need to be actually escalated up to the level where we are. So that is the one issue. So, but in effect, what I'm saying is I agree that delegates from provinces get together and sit down and also finalize the issues of content of the provincial week around the proposed areas that is there. That is the first one. And then just now for consistency's sake, that the multilateral platforms where we are represented also be indicated on the program as it stands, like for instance CSW as well as IPU, that will be taking place before the end of this term. Thank you, of this quarter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Honorable Labuskachne?
Thank you, Chairperson. As the Honorable Chief Whip indicated, there was a discussion in the WIP's forum yesterday, and I do know that we are not supposed to raise things that's been discussed there here, but I cannot not raise this. I raised it yesterday. I consulted with the Western Cape yesterday and early this morning, and I just want to draw the attention of the programming committee to the following. Although this provincial week is on the framework since the end of last year, and although I've indicated at every possible occasion that this is the first time that the NCOP is scheduling a provincial week in the first term at the last week of the first term. And the reasons why I raised that is I know that for the past 7 years that I'm aware of, the Western Cape province starts their budget cycle immediately after the national parliament does theirs. So their budget date is the 14th of March. So they also finish their budget cycle at the end of March normally, and then they go on constituency time. The letter from the NCOP went out to the provinces on the 1st of March, informing them now that this is confirmed that this week is going to take place. And I just want to inform you that the Western Cape has from the 28th until the 30th, they are in the last cycle of their budget votes. So the Provincial Parliament has a 3-line whip from the 28th till the 30th to finalize the budget votes. And then on the 31st, the constituency period starts. And that's all that I need to report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure it's noted. The platform where you raised this yesterday, I'm sure also noted the issues. Honorable Dango.
Chairperson, I'm covered by the Deputy Chair of the Council, by her remarks and by the remarks of the Chief Whip. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comment?
On the toy, Honorable Chair.
I see there's Detroit.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I know that we touched on the matter with regards to the whip of the Northwest Province. If I want to place other visits on the provincial week, who must I contact with regards to that? Specifically, the water supply issue in the Ketleng area that has been prevalent for the past 3 to 4 weeks now, as well as the unrest situation in Makwasi Hills area that is also taking place on a weekly basis. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Chief Whip, is there a way in which you guys can assist pursue the issue?
Currently, I will direct the honorable member that we, as I indicated, that we asked one of the 2 members remaining from Northwest delegates, permanent delegates, to be taking the responsibility of the provincial whip and liaise whilst is the chair. So immediately after this meeting, I will be directing Honorable Titoit and give him the details of the member that I'm in consultation with. That's the first one. So that also there is not going to be any crisis, because there's going to be a provincial delegation meeting of Northwest by the member concerned that we are requesting to facilitate that this meeting takes place, so that Northwest, like other provinces, discusses this matter. So the other issue that has been raised by Honorable Labuskachen, I think we take note of it, and correctly she points out that this matter is on the framework which was consulted with provinces. You'll recall, Chairperson, the framework of our program was consulted with provinces, provincial speakers in attendance, and the chief whips. And we always would impress upon provincial delegates that it is our obligation to undertake the provincial week. So, but we do note what the matters that he's raising. So we'll deal with those issues to the extent that we can, because also on my part as chief whip, there are forums where we meet with chief whips, where we discuss in terms of synchronizing and improving coordination. And we have done it several times, and one is upcoming to deal with this, all other matters on our program, Chairperson, to enhance our proper flow of our program. So we'll deal with those matters. And she's correct that we discussed these matters in our February meeting yesterday. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Chief Whip. Yeah, any other comment? No, thank you very much, honorable members. We will then move to the next item, which is item 7, report on select committee business and report of legislation before select committees. Honorable Nyambi.
Thanks, Chair. The business of committees kick off with a strategic planning and review session, as correctly indicated by your good self and Njandu, Chair, for the past 2 days. The Select Committee on Appropriation and the Select Committee on Finance have held meetings jointly and severally in pursuit of their mandate. 2 more meetings, one each for the Select Committee on Culture and Finance, has been planned for tomorrow as indicated by Honorable Njandu. When it comes to budget instrument, Chair, 2 budget instruments will be processed as follows. The Select Committee on Finance anticipates the referral of the fiscal framework, which then hopes to finalize by the 8th of March, with the House considering the same on the 9th of March. The Select Committee on Appropriation anticipates that 2022 Division of Revenue will be referred to it on the 24th of March, correctly indicated by Honorable Njandu. It then anticipates that the finalization and consideration of the bill will take place on the 2nd term, Chair. Then the interventions, Chair, the Select Committee on Culture is considering interventions and notice of interventions in terms of Section 139 and various subsections of the Constitution. To mention those that might be new and those that were dealt with in the past, Mfuleni Local Municipality, Gauteng, Extension of Intervention and Progress Report, Umzinyati and Utukela District Municipality, Mtubatuba, Msunduzi, Richmond, Inkosi Langalibalele, Mpofana, and Abatulusi Local Municipality, all in KZN. Dr. J.S. Moroka Municipality, it's Mpumalanga, Msunduzi Local Municipality, KZN, it's Progress Report. Motu Local Municipality, it's KZN, it's a Notice of Intervention. And the Central Karoo District Municipality in the Western Cape, Umkanyagute District Municipality, and Emadlangeni Local Municipality in KZN is Notice of Intervention. Chair, the Select Committee on Transport and Public Service and Administration, Public Works, Infrastructure, has the following agreement before it. Is the International Convention on the Civil Liability for Bunkers Oil Pollution Damage 2001. When it comes to petition, Chair, petitions and executive undertakings, the Select Committee on Petitions and Executive Undertakings have before it 2 petitions and 18 and 16 executive undertakings, all of which are at various stages of completion. The undertakings were made by the following and deputy ministers: Minister of Justice, Correctional Service, Minister of Police, Minister of Social Development, Minister of Transport, Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Deputy Minister of Health, Minister of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development. The last part from my part, Chair, it's other matters before Select Committee. There are other matters within the purview of Select Committee, which are as follows: Select Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Select Committee on Finance, Select Committee on Transport, and Select Committee on Security and Justice. It's 2 matters. I so table the report, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's the report. Any specific comments? Comments? Gone. Thank you very much. So the issues are noted. Maybe just to say to the team that circulate the report, please ensure that we also get this report from Nyambi on time. I'm sure it can be sorted out outside of this meeting. Thank you very much. We will then proceed to the next item. Item 8, the report on parliamentary legislative program. Mr. Bear,
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning. I would like to display the report on legislation before Parliament.
Yes.
And that report firstly reflects 9 bills introduced so far in 2022, which of course also includes the electoral amendment bill. Chairperson, on page 4 of the report on legislation, the document you see before you now is not the one I'm speaking to.
Yes.
On page 4 of that document, you can see that there are 2 bills certified by the State Law Advisors for introduction. The first one, the Older Persons Bill, was a government priority a year or 2 ago, and it's one of the bills that were clustered under the gender-based violence group. It deals with poor coordination of services and protection of older people, including community-based and residential care facilities. And it also makes provision, or it will make provision, for the removal of older persons to temporary safe care without a court order. Lastly, Chairperson, on page 5, I reflect bills currently with the President for assent, and included there are the National Forests Amendment Bill and the NEMA Laws Amendment Bills. Those 2 were amended by the NCOP late last year and returned to the National Assembly for concurrence. The National Assembly concurred, and the bills have been sent to the President for assent. Bills recently assented to include a couple of gender-based violence bills, like sexual offences, criminal matters, and domestic violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There we are. Any comment? Honorable members of the NCOP, any comment?
None,
Honorable
Chair.
members. Honorable
None.
members of the program committee, yes, Ngweni.
Thanks very much, Chair, and thank you for the presentation. Chair, I don't have any comment. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I see Labuskakne there, Labuskakne.
Thank you, Chairperson. The only comment that I would like to make is the comment that I made in the WIPS group yesterday, and that we have to be aware there's a lot of, as we've seen now, a lot of legislation, and the more legislations that we have in the committees, and it's very important that we pass these legislations and that we spend enough time with it, that I don't want to take the focus away from that, but we have to be aware that the more legislation that we have, the less time we have for other activities of oversight and things in the committees. And I would like to make an appeal to the chairperson as the presiding officer in the deliberations between the NA and the NCOP, to please ask the NA so that they can just stick to the processes and procedures and don't do bill dumping on the NCOP at one or other stage late next year.
Yeah, whatever.
And also try and in the departments to see if it's possible to make sure that a committee in the NCOP, because we're working in clusters, don't receive 2 or 3 bills that has to go out to the provinces simultaneously, because that makes it terrible to have one committee that send out 2 or 3 bills to provinces that they have, that we as the committee in the NCOP, as well as the provinces, has to deal with at the same time. In a certain way, in the provinces, maybe it's a little bit better because it's different departments and different committees that will deal with that. But yeah, to have 2 or 3 bills in one committee that you have to deal with, it means that in the committees, we have to accept the fact that we will have to prioritize and say, okay, we will first do this one and then the other one, or sometimes runs that simultaneously. But that also has an effect that in the time that you run those bills, you can't do any other work in a committee. Thank you.
Yeah, there's the point. I think it's a very clear point that we should try and avoid the inconveniences and mishaps that occur as a result of lack of proper coordination. Chief Whip, I'm sure you've noted the point as well on your part. So the point is noted. It will be pursued in the various relevant fora. Yeah, I'm sure that takes us to the end of the meeting. But before we close the meeting, there's just this announcement that there's an online survey to try and get a feedback from members on the services being rendered. I think this is about service being delivered and broadly assessing performance. So members are asked to participate in the process. The online survey, Mengwing, you guys are being asked to please participate and ensure that you answer whatever questions, so on, enrich the process. It's already in the context of the work that we do. So and don't wait until the survey results are out and then you moan and complain and so on. Let's try and avoid that. So that was just a short announcement. Having said that, and there being no other business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson.